Well, hello. How is everybody doing? I hope everyone's having a good day. I'm going to try and open this with this. Will it work? Probably not, no. But I do have a bottle opener. I was just trying to be cool. Right, how is everyone? I see Jose's with us. I see Jack Landry's with us. Brisket is such a good-mannered dog. No, he is fucking not. He's the worst behaved dog I have ever met. And that is solely my fault. And I understand that entirely. He's a friendly dog, but he's not very well behaved. Is that a purebred good boy? Yes. He's not a well-mannered dog, but he is a good boy. He is a good boy. Maurice is with us. How are you all doing today? It's been nearly a month since we last did a stream. It's been about 3 weeks. It's been about 3 weeks since we last did a stream. Why has it been 3 weeks since I last did a stream? Because getting parts self-sourced takes time and money. But we have all of the parts now, I think. We've got everything that we need to finish off the electronics box. We have got every single bit we need. I got some ACM panels. I've got all the electronics bits behind me and to my sides and all that kind of stuff. I've got beer. I repeat, I've got beer. And that's the most important part. Do or do not. There is no try, so be cool. Fair enough. Yeah. Also, we put our first tutorial video out. How did everyone like it? Did anyone watch it? Did anyone in stream watch it? Do you guys like it? Is there anything you wanted to change about it? Should there have been more information? Because I tried to make it as kind of condensed as possible. Was awesome. Cool. Nice. Yeah. The audio was the thing that that I worried about. I don't have the ears for good audio. And I know that sounds weird, but I can't distinguish good audio from bad audio a lot of the time. Unless I'm very much concentrated on it. Like, that's the only thing I do that day is deal with the audio. Right. Anyways, let's stop talking. Right, I've got some ACM panels that I need to drill out as first thing first. And I actually don't know off the top of my head how far away from each corner the holes need to be drilled from. I'm going to hop into Fusion, and I'm just going to project off the top surface. I'm just going to measure where. We're not going to do these two holes anymore. I was doing them because I thought it would stop the panels from vibrating as much, but then I realized it's the electronics box. It's not going to be vibrating because it's going to be away from the mill. And it's just extra cost at the end of the day. And I also kind of, you don't always get a good sense of scale when you're doing CAD stuff. So you kind of think, oh, this is going to be way bigger than it's going to be. It's going to need something to hold the panels down. When in actual fact, it's that. Ignore that. It's tiny. You don't need the center holes anymore. So I'm going to ignore those holes for now. And we're going to try drill some ACM. Right, we need to make some measurements. Right, so edge to edge is 13 millimeters. Yeah, 13 millimeters and 10 millimeters. Cool. So, center to edge. Steve Nobbs is here. Hello. Jose Rivera, very informative travel. Thank you. I tried really hard. Another reason we haven't had a lot of streams in a while is because I've been concentrating on that video. I've been concentrating on trying to get it to a decent standard. I know it's very different from the first two videos I put out. I wasn't happy with the first two videos. Hans is here. Is Hans going to be trying out his steel on his Milo today? Or were you just teasing us? Ah, perfect timing. Popped in whilst I'm abusing my Milo with steel. Cool. So, I need to do both panels, so I might as well do this, get both panels ready. I'm just going to mark out 13 mil. These holes are oversized, so they don't need to be perfectly exact. And the sides that I'm marking are going to go inside the machine, so you won't be able to see any of the chicken scratches. First cuts didn't sound happy. Oh. Right. We need videos. Even if Milo's screaming like a pig. We need videos. We need proof. What's everyone been up to recently? What projects have people been up to? I've got a plan for a video. I've got a plan for a video coming up, and it's going to be a dumb thing, and I don't want anyone to repeat it. But I do have a plan. The only thing is, I need to get my Milo back inside my enclosure. And yes, over that 3-week period, I still haven't put my Milo back in there because I spent a week of that 3-week period filming the last video where I needed my Milo outside to do that. To get B-roll for. Printing a life-size mammoth tusk. Baby mammoth tusk. Or big mammoth tusk. Oh, that's set to 12. I need 10. Actually, did I? Yes, I did. Okay. Oh, Gesundheit. I'm thinking about compression pressing the Killdozer mod backplate out of forged carbon fiber because ain't got no money to order it from steel. Why? I've seen a few attempts at a carbon fiber mill. Honestly, I would just do it out of aluminium. Especially when you're thinking of what I think is your compression for your forged carbon fiber, which is even worse to do if you haven't done it before. What is it? What are the composite guys on YouTube? There's a composite YouTube channel. I forget what they're called. But they Thomas Sandlader mentioned them a couple times. They make forged carbon fiber look so easy. It is not. It is one of the hardest things I've ever attempted to do because it's just so messy. Anytime you're working with epoxy is messy. I mean, carbon fiber is pretty stiff. That's why I wanted to. Yeah, it's pretty stiff, but you're not really adding any dampening mass. Right, remember the epoxy in the epoxy granite kind of framework that you work along, the epoxy doesn't add anything. It doesn't add the stiffness, it doesn't add the dampening. All it is doing in epoxy granite is acting as a binder. So it's the sand that does all the dampening. So if you're taking a forged carbon fiber piece, you're taking a material that's just meant to act as a binder, and you're combining it with another material that is well known for not being very good at dampening anything, and stuffing them together. So yeah, you're going to get a very stiff part, but you're also going to get a part that's going to probably add nothing to the worst part of Milo. Just need to redo one of these 13mm lines. Okay, all right. I have never drilled ACM before. I normally work with acrylic, so I'm going to assume that this is going to be a pain in the ass. Because if you assume everything's going to be a pain in the ass, you're just pleasantly surprised sometimes. Beer. What do I need? I need drill bits. That's what I need.
BOC levels are suboptimal.
Oh, shut up,
Turning
you.
filters on.
That's not a bad argument. Honestly, that's why I was thinking about something even crazier a while ago. What were you thinking about? There's no such thing as too crazy to mention to me. Ooh, where's my drill? There's my drill. Like a backside stiffener that has forged carbon fiber faceplates and like granite epoxy filling for weight. See, I could get behind that more, because at least you're adding dampening mass. At least you're adding some kind of dampening mass to it. That actually cuts really nicely. That cuts way nicer than acrylic, than just straight acrylic does. That is super nice. Be very careful not to break any of these panels, because if I do, I then have to wait another 3 weeks. Yeah, so that video went really well. The tramming video went really well. It's actually the most, believe it or not, the most popular video that we put out on the channel that wasn't an announcement video of some kind, like a proper content-wise. So I think I'm going to do more videos in future. I think we're still going to do streams, but we might do one once a week rather than once every few days or whatever. And I'd like to get some more like project-y stuff. So the tutorial stuff's cool and all, but I also like to do some projects. Oh, Thomas is with us. The German sensation. That is rocking the nation. I ordered a normal dial indicator for myself so I can tram my Milo properly. Nice. Yeah. See, this is the thing, right? When LDO, so I actually had Dave from LDO, not Dave on the team, come to my house. Right? He was in the UK for something, and he came to my house to talk about Milo and the kit and what we should include in it. I said, an indicator. And then he asked me, what kind of indicator? And honestly, it was one of those things where you can add both indicators into the kit, but then you add $50 to the kit. 50 to $100 for both of them if you're counting both of them together. And I really wanted that first one of Milo to be as cheap as you could get it, and still it be a good kit. Also, hey Thomas, how you doing? So I said, okay, use a DTI, because a DTI you can tram with a DTI, you can do a lot with a DTI, and I think you can do a lot more with a DTI on average, but it would have been nice to have both in the kit. The same with things like 123 blocks, like that's stuff that I don't expect that should come with kits. Especially when it's like precision stuff, like things like dowel pins and 123 blocks and stuff like that. People have their tolerance for them, especially like even collets. People have their tolerance with them. So they can be really, really cheap, which people then immediately throw away. Some people do at least. Or they can be expensive, and then the people who don't want to spend too much money are stuck buying really expensive stuff. And let's face it, the stuff that comes with the kit is probably always going to err on the cheaper side. Okay, I adjusted cutting params. Gonna send my Milo against the steel again. Wish me luck. Good luck. Good luck. Good luck. Right. Whilst Hans is puckering hard and pushing his Milo to the limits, I think it's a good time to remind everyone that if you do enjoy the stuff that we do here, give us a like. I'm not going to ask you to subscribe. I'm not going to ask you to send any money or anything like that. I just like a like every now and again, because honestly, that helps a lot. But if you do want to go that extra little mile, the perfect thing that you can do is share the video. Tell people about me, right? The last 2 days, we've had the biggest spike in subscribers because of that video. So I think it's a good time to tell people to share stuff. Glenn, how you doing? We got a Glenn in the house. Mitsutoyo or AliExpress? For myself, I get most of my tools for CNC from a place called, from a company called Cutwell here in the UK, and they sell Insize brand tools. They're kind of middle of the range. They're not amazing. They're not Mitsutoyo, but they are kind of mid-range, decently priced ones. Accu in the UK also sells them. Which side is the matte side? This is the matte side. So this is the side I can bust up. All right. I believe I'm going to make an uninformed guess here. What's mine? There it is. I told a good couple of my friends about Milo, though sadly they don't share my tism for it. Fair enough. Yeah. Do you know what's really annoying? It's really annoying. I had an A1 Mini, Bamboo Labs A1 Mini, that I never used it, so I gave it to my friend. And my friend he's got his tisms, don't we all? And he took it to the place that I used to work at. And he started taking prints out, and he started showing people. And I'd been talking about these machines for years. And I talk about them in like a useful capacity, like I'm making machines and designing things and stuff like this. He is going he's going on principles, he is going on Maker World, and he is taking whatever the print of the week is and showing people. And there has been more interest in from those people about 3D printing than I could ever get out of them talking about actual projects. Hey Jose Ferreira this time. How you doing? Yeah, we'll definitely do more than that. I want to do some project videos as well. I'm not talking like, oh, I made this cool sign type project video. Like, I have a plan to do something with some climbing gear. I'm going to say this right now. If you do watch that video, if it does come out, don't repeat what I'm about to do, what I'm going to do in that video. Please don't. It's going to be stupid, but I will have all the necessary safety equipment set up for it. But I want to do videos like that, because that gets people who aren't in the wider kind of maker space. It gets people like that involved. I still want to do all the tutorials and stuff. Hell yeah, like those are still going to be a thing. But I want to do some practical applications for having a CNC machine. Because thousands of people can think of a practical reason to have a 3D printer. You have a 3D printer, oh, you need to print a gasket. Oh, you need to print a shelf, a bookshelf. Oh, you need to print a little toy. It's an easy thing to market, is a 3D printer. When I milled my mild steel putter. Jonathan Lagan? I'm going to say it's Lagan. Jonathan Lagan. Why have you not put that up on the Discord yet? And if you have, why have I not seen it? It's crazy how small the community is. 3D printing exploded, but CNC seems to be much slower on the hobby level. Yeah. It's because a 3D printer once it's built, like you need your knowledge. You need your knowledge base to build it. If you're going from like a Voron self-built perspective, you need that. But after it's working, it's plug and play. Oh, I'm at the wrong side. Okay, this side's going to be shiny. This panel's going to have to be shiny. It's plug and play. It's design your thing on Fusion or get it off Make World, press print, and it goes. CNC, no matter how much you dumb it down, will always be, oh, I need to set this up. I need to tram this. I need to indicate it. I need to set a work coordinate system. There's a lot more steps to it. And whilst it's probably the more powerful technology, it's at that point where there's still about a small amount of craftsmanship that goes into actually creating a part. And that's not to like say, oh, I'm better than anyone who 3D prints. That's just kind of that's the reason it hasn't taken as much, hasn't taken the world by storm, I think. Where is my little stabby thing? I put it away, didn't I? Oh, I always do this on stream. I posted the putter last year, I think. Now that I've rebuilt my M43 with 48-volt motors, I want to revisit steel. Nice. But mild steel chips are really annoying to deal with. Why are they annoying? Oh, I know, because you're doing really thin chips, aren't you? And let me guess, they're really spiky. And they get everywhere. That's my guess. Tiny knives in my hands. Yep. That is a pain. Have you ever seen, there's a Titans CNC video where, is it Titan Gilroy, the guy who owns the Titans CNC company, he does like snow angels in a big barrel of steel chips, and he comes out with like half of them buried under his skin. It was commitment to the bit on that one. I'll give him that. I don't like Titans CNC. I don't like Titans CNC that much, but I'll give them that. Tiny knives in my hands. You feel like Wolverine for a second. You feel like Wolverine. You just get like 3 chips and hold them between your fingers and go, oh, I'm tiny Wolverine. This is dumb, but I'm doing it anyway. Oh, just a heads up to you guys. I'm not trying to preempt it because I haven't got the job yet. But if I do get this job that I'm applying for, I may be moving. And if I may be moving, I think I'm going to get a van. I think I'm going to get a van. And I'm going to do some van lifing for a while. Because I honestly think it'll be cheaper for me to do that, not have to pay council tax, not having to pay extortionate amounts of rent, because where I'm looking at the rent to be able to have a dog is like £1,000 a month, because I'm looking at moving to a city, and that's expensive. So there may be some CNC van projects on the go. Maybe some CNC van projects on the go. Right. And last, a little bit of preparation we need to do. I just need to thread some bolts and stuff. Where are you? I need to thread the end caps on the enclosure. Fuck it, we'll do it dry. What kind of job are you looking into? It's an engineering job. It'll be my first engineering job. But the issue is, so I bought this place with the help of my parents. And it's such a good deal around here that if I decide to move to wherever this place is, I would probably be taking home less money than if I, at an engineering job, than I would if I stayed here and just did a bar job or a waitering job or something like that. Oh, I've already tapped these. I didn't realize I'd already tapped these. Oh. I'm a genius and I didn't even know it. No. So yeah, so it's this, I'm in this weird situation where even if I want this bar job, this engineering job, which is going to give me more money, I would need to move for it, and the costs of moving and renting a place would mean I would actually be taking home less money than if I stayed here and just became a waiter. But I really want this job. I really want to get into that industry. So the way I'm thinking about it is, because I own this place, I can rent this place out. So the whole idea is the rent from this place goes towards the kind of cost of living for the van. So that's things like fuel, water, well, electricity would be solar. So I could figure that out myself. But yeah, things like fuel, water, stuff like that. I have some friends who said that they'd be willing to rent this place. I just want to get out of the outdoors, to be fair. Yep, outdoors is... It's a great lifestyle, but that's it. It's a lifestyle. It's not a good living. All right, change parameters again. Let's see if Milo will scream less now. If it keeps screaming, we're gonna have to take you to child court. Oh no. Oh no. Let's see if this panel fits better. Nope. I fucked that up. I fucked up. Right, what about the big panels? The holes aren't in the right places. I was just about to hold that in my mouth and I realized that would probably be not great. Okay. The big panels are fine. That's okay. It's okay. Alright. Luckily, top panels, I can just print those. Yeah, best of luck with a new job opportunity. Great idea to rent out your current place. Yeah, so rent this place out. Use that money to kind of pay for my living. I need to take out a small loan. Well, not a small loan. A decent sized loan. And the rent would help pay towards that loan. If you get what I'm get what I'm getting at. But it'll be fun to try and fit, because I do want to take Milo with me. I do want to take Milo with me on the road, so, as it were. So trying to figure that out, the logistics of that. Because even if I don't get the job, honestly, if I've still rented this place out, got the van, had to pay back the van and all, and the loan I would need to renovate it and all that stuff, I would probably still be bringing home more money than if I still lived here. And I'd have a van, because van's fucking cool. This could just be my ADHD just hyper-focusing on something, and then in 3 days, I'll just completely forget it's a thing. But right now, my brain is on van. It also just means I'm not stuck anywhere. I don't have that commitment of having to stay in a town and work or any job around this town or anything like that. I could go and I could work wherever I wanted in the country. I could do whatever I wanted in the country. So even if the job doesn't work out and I don't have to move, I still think the van's a good idea. Carefully catch the holes with the mouse and move them. Yeah, I could do. The issue is, the issue is that if I make them too big, then the head of the bolts won't fit through, and I think I would need to make them that size to get the threaded, the holes in the right positions. Like, they're that fucked up. They're that far off of center. Well, not off of center, but off of where they're meant to be. Alright, let's brainstorm a little bit. The bottom should be fine because the feet should hold it in place, because... So, I'm gonna have to chase it. Yeah, I think if I chased it with an 8mm, a button head screw has a 10mm head, or 10.5mm head. So with an 8mm, that should be enough. Ooh, just looks like it might just be enough. Where's my drill? Where's my drill? And I think out of everyone in the community, I've seen you been hyped the most to actually do projects and things. I've seen more test cuts and projects and things from you than I think anyone else in the community. We might just be able to get away with that. Oh yeah, I love doing stuff with the mill and experimenting with it. That's the thing. Like, sometimes it's not even about the project itself or getting something out of it at the end. Sometimes it's just about fucking around with something cool. Alright. Yeah. Turn this around and put this on the top, actually, yeah, we'll do it like that. Also gonna, it's just on the edge, and I'll trace the other ones. Brisket's fast asleep. Just takes my ADHD off in the right way. Nice. Yeah. I get you. I understand you. Got some HDPE cutting boards to make the other day to make spoil boards. Nice. I have one, but I never got around to actually doing any cutting on it. I was meant to do the spoiled board that I cut the plates for V1.6 with that, but I never got around to doing it, and I just printed them instead. I'd still say it's probably a better idea to have proper spoil boards and to have it done to do the HDPE ones. Those are probably going to be better and last longer. Oh my, I think I've somehow made not bad cutting parameters. Chips are like brownish color, so they're taking the heat away. They are. Cool, that's like brown is kind of your starting of the temper. That kind of brownish straw color is kind of like the starting of the temper colors for steel. So that's good. That's good. Nice. Well done, dude. I saw you printed one in ABS. Found these for like €8. Should be good for 2 boards. Yes, yeah. Weirdly enough, in the UK, it was really hard for me to find like an online somewhere online because I couldn't find any in the supermarkets. Like Amazon was would only sell me a pack of like 6 big chopping boards. I've actually got one of them down here. Like, there's a pack of these for like $20, and it was the only way I could find them because my local supermarket didn't have any cutting boards for some reason, or the ones that they did have were like 3 mil thin. I swear, I feel more like Lions Tactics every day the more I drop things in this place. Alright, I need to chase these holes too now. Yeah, so what are people thinking about? Like, go all the way to the back of the stream, to the back of the start of the stream. All right, and I mentioned I might be doing less streams and doing more videos. All right, are people okay with that? Do people want me to do less streams? Want me to do more videos? Want me to do less videos and more streams? What are people's opinions on things? And also speak about projects. Like, I have an opinion. I think doing more project-based stuff rather than purely Milo tutorial stuff will be a good idea, because I think it'll bring a broader audience in. Obviously, we do the tutorial stuff as well. But yeah, what are people's thoughts on it? I've got some TPU feet here. Some feet. Though it was a bit scary to see a 1mm deep cut start at those speeds. Damn! You're going straight into this. You're going to a 1mm deep one. I like the streams, but I think if we are thinking about views and exposure, videos bring more, or at least that's what I saw on YouTube mostly. Yeah, put it like this. And I think Nero agrees with me on this one. Nero has said this on his streams as well. YouTube videos are what bring people to the channel and actually add to the exposure. I'm going to need longer bolts. YouTube videos actually bring people to the channel. The streams probably make more money because obviously you get everyone who donates to the video or to the stream or whatever, and you get your super chats and all that kind of stuff. You get all that fun stuff, but you kind of need to get to a point where you're able to have a lot of people show up for stream. Like Nero has 300 people show up for stream. Before I took that like 3-week break, I had like an average of 20 to 30 people join us, and obviously taking a break means there's less people. Taking a break's never good on YouTube. It's never a good idea to take a break on YouTube. I was kind of forced to take a break on YouTube because, well, I didn't have the stuff I needed to actually continue doing stuff, and that's just a shame. But it is what it is. Oh yeah, I learned that from when I started. Remember my first MLs that got alley welded to them, and that's when you guys told me if I go too conservative. Yeah, exactly. I'd like to see more content on Milo usage, real life cutting videos or streaming. Yeah. So has another question for you guys. What CNC content do you guys watch? Do you guys watch anyone else or anything else on CNC, or is it just kind of maker stuff? Like, do you watch like Pratex designs? Does anyone watch Pratex designs? Or CNC, or what are they called? Titans of CNC or any of that stuff? You know, stuff where CNC might not be the end goal, but it is a tool that's being used. Because that's the type of content I actually watch. Like, I do try to avoid Titans of CNC, I will not lie, because I find their content to be quite in your face and annoying more than anything else. But you really did a great job on that last one. Cheers, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. It was a struggle to get out. I will not lie. But that's because it was the first time I was doing it. It was the first time I was doing it. And stuff's always hard the first time. Or not hard the first time, if you get what I mean. Giggity. Project videos definitely bring in the most views. The biggest videos I've seen around the topic were always like project. Yeah, exactly. Like, I want to make a PC case. I want to make a PC case one day. I want to do all the stuff that I built Milo personally to do. I want to make 3D printer parts. I've got a Micron coming some stage in the next few months. All the parts from Micron. I'd like to do a bunch of those parts in CNC. I'd love to do that. I've been so caught up for the last 3 years in building Milo out for you guys that, and I kind of thought, okay, if I build it, they will come type of situation. And yeah, that's true for the most part. The community that we have is awesome, and that they did kind of do that, where where they wanted to do some CNC. They found some stuff. D, how you doing, dude? How are you doing? Awesome. Right, look at that. Look at that. We have side panels. We have side panels. We have feet. It's looking awesome. I have done a couple things on the internals and the back plates off the stream, so I'm just going to run you over those before I continue. Effectively, what I've done, I've added a Raspberry Pi. I've changed the orientation of the power supply. I would still say that if you got one of the Huanyang VFDs, you're going to have to do it sideways, but luckily the hole spacing is the same, so you can either mount it sideways or flat. We're going to be mounting it flat for this build. On the back, I have added the last two panels that we didn't do on the stream prior, and I've added some grommets. So you got some cable grommets for the back. On the front, on the back and on the front, there are some keystone jacks. So you can choose what I/O you want to put on the front and on the back. On this build, we're probably going to do one Ethernet on the back, one USB on the back, and then one USB on the front and one HDMI on the front. So that if whoever gets this has a monitor that they want to hook up to the Raspberry Pi, they can do so. Just going to tighten these feet up a little bit. But now we get to do the fun part, or the not so fun part, depending on how much you enjoy doing wiring. We've got some wiring to do. Oh, actually, no, we don't. I'm actually going to take all the electronics out. I'm going to just take I'm just going to undo the DIN rails and take the DIN rails out with all the electronics on them, because I've got some stuff. I've got some cable channels to put in. So 3D printed cable channels. Case is looking good, looks clean. I could see a PC build in that case. Yeah, yeah. Well, might do one day. Who knows? Who knows? There you go. I want to make some videos too, though I'm getting a Wi-Fi cam for it so I can hook that up to RRF and also. I can't pass the guide, the duet guide for a Wi-Fi cam. I don't understand. None of it makes sense. It's like talking gibberish to me. So if you can get one working, please let me know how you done it so I can do it, because I really want to set up a Wi-Fi camera in here as well, in my casa. Why am I doing that? That looks weird. I just wanted to say it looks like PC case too. Yeah, yeah. Get a whole ATX case in there. A whole ATX build. Yeah. So I'm not gonna lie. This was kind of inspired by the stuff that Ratrig's doing with their electronics box. I don't like their electronics box because it's A, way too big of a box, and B, the electronics layout isn't the greatest from what I've seen. But I will give credit where credit's due. I think the box idea was a good idea. And because open source is a thing, they will be getting an open source credit, because whilst we're not stealing the idea from them, it was an inspired thing. I always like to make sure that even if we are inspired by something, that we give them an open source credit in the manuals and things. So Ratrig will be getting one. Same with Voron, same with everyone who's with all the big projects that have given inspiration to this project. It's just the right thing to do. You should see my electronics box. That full-blown old PC case takes a huge. Then, any update on the Spice Rack and 4-pack? The 4-pack is currently in the middle of testing. The 4-pack should be ready soonish. Yeah, 4-pack should be ready soonish. But 9 Mile is poor guy. Poor guy. He's a brand new dad, and he's really, really struggling with doing that and testing everything. So, hence why if you're in the Illuminati, you saw us put out a little call for aid for him. So he needs to kind of think about how he's going to deal with automatic tool changes in MOS. Because we can have the hardware ready in the next few months, really. But unless he's able to get the software side of things going, not going to do anything. We can't really do anything. Plans for index on Milo. Not on Milo, but if we do if the Micron build comes out and I have enough money to spend on a little index, I'm going to make that Micron my little travel printer, if the van works out as well. So yeah, we might do an index on the Micron. If you guys need beta testing with tool changes too, I'd be up for that too. Like I said, we know that the module itself works. All right, we've done the testing. Well, Bright's done the testing on it. The little module that makes up both the 4-pack and the spice rack, they work. That doesn't need any more testing. The stuff that needs testing is, for example, on the 4-pack, there's a lid that needs to open and close. And that needs a servo. So we need to make sure the servo opens at the correct times. And we need to be able to actually perform the tool changes. And we need to make sure that there's a little line of text, a little line of code that allows it to be opened whenever the tool change occurs. And then we also need to integrate it into other stuff. So it's a software issue at this point. The hardware's done. And unfortunately, we only have one software guy. 9 Mile nailed my VFD settings. Nice, nice. I'm guessing you're Flo? You Flo? Glenn, are you Flo, or are you someone else on the Discord? Do the tool changes work like the rapid change? In principle, yes, but not in operation. So the rapid change acts in the same way an impact gun does. It's basically, if you don't know how an impact gun works, it's an arm that comes round and it whacks it. So that's where the impact in impact guns are from. It whacks the actual spindle and then slips off the other side because it kind of cams off the other side. And then it goes around and whacks and whacks and whacks and whacks. That's the same operating principle as the rapid change, right? Whereas the way we do it is we have teeth that only engage at a certain Z height. So the top of the module spins freely, and then as it gets pressed down, because there's a spring that keeps the two halves separate, there's teeth on the bottom and teeth on the top. And as it gets pushed down, then the teeth engage. So in terms of like a macro operation, yes, it's still a collet-based tool changer. But in terms of how they actually operate and tighten everything up, no. Also, Phil should be done, well, Phil's working on
Workshop VOC level return to nominal levels.
Thank you, Alexa.
Turning filters off.
Phil's working on the 4th axis, so the 4th axis should also be out soon. 4th axis is going to be a little bit easier to do on software because you just have to tell it it's a 4th axis. but the hardware is going to take a little bit longer to do. The tool changer in the video sounded like it would not last long. Are you talking about the one we did on the stream? The one I was doing on the stream, I was trying to get away with some other stuff. I was trying to get away with some stuff that Bright's one didn't have, and I wasn't getting away with it. I didn't get away with it. But I know that Bright's one has been tested a lot. Bright's design has been tested a lot more rigorously, and it's held up fine. And it operates differently to the one I tested on stream. Alright, I need beer. Drink like Trump. Have you ever seen that video of Trump has to drink water with 2 hands? I feel more American already. The 4th axis with a tool changer sounds like a dream come true for my lazy eye. Hans, I have some bad news for you. Fusion's 4th axis stuff is a paid feature. This is why it's taken us so long to do a 4th axis. We could have done a 4th axis pretty early on. Will Millennium be designing a Swiss machine? Probably not. In some ways, a Swiss machine is actually easier to build than a lathe. In some ways. In other ways, it's a lot harder to build than a lathe. And a Swiss machine, the whole point of a Swiss machine is it's, from a practical standpoint, it's a lathe with live tooling and sorry, no, it's not a lathe. It's a mill with a 4th axis that acts like a lathe that also has a bar feeder. And it's the bar feeder bit that concerns me, because then it's not a desktop machine anymore, and then it becomes a lot harder to design. I need scissors. Yeah, that's my goal for the 4th axis and tool changer, but I wouldn't pay for the software. Just set up my position G54, G55, and G56, and then you don't have to move the part manually. Yeah, so you're thinking more like acting as a tombstone type thing, which is fair. I think that is actually something you can do in the free version of Fusion. Yeah. Are you actually going to go full tombstone, or you doing like the same part, but you're only doing one face at a time, effectively? I've just realized something. I forgot to put the things on. The handles. This comes with handles. Let's do the handles first. Let's get a handle on the situation. See, this is what it's like when you don't have a manual to follow. You look really stupid on camera. Not that I don't look stupid on camera naturally. I mean, that it's part of my charm. It's part of who I am. If I'm not looking stupid on camera, then the world will be coming to an end soon. Is that gonna be deep enough, do you reckon? Yeah, probably deep enough. Handles like a real product. I posted on the Discord using the Inception Machine's low profile device. Oh, I know who you are. Are you Furky? Are you Furky on the Discord? I don't know why I like the name Furky so much. The handle Furky just tickles me. That's me. Oh, cool. Nice to finally meet you. Thanks for coming to stream. As much as seeing someone on stream is meeting them. It's always weird because people have lots of different handles, so figuring out who's who and remembering all the handles for Discord versus the handles for YouTube are just a pain. I'm gonna need longer bolts. I'm gonna need a bigger boat. I was gonna need longer bolts. Those are M5x10s. I need M5x12s. Ugh. For those of you who did watch the Tranny video, were the little like jokes, like the Snoop Dogg reference and the Rick and Morty reference, too much? Should I leave them out in future? I was a bit worried to keep those little additions in there. I know some people find that kind of stuff annoying. Jose Rivera, I like humor. Ah, yes, the German response. Sorry, Thomas. No. Ugh. This old Tony Tone turns the humor to 11. Yeah. Yeah. I wish he kept posting more. When was this last video? It was months ago. I like them as well. I'm trying to mount the dial-in kit in the spindle. Yeah, I thought that was a good one. See, jokes like that I'm not worried about. They're kind of like on-topic, self-contained jokes. It's the kind of meme culture jokes I'm more worried about. Because, you know what, at the end of the day, and I hate to say this, the 3D printing community is often, I'm not saying it's always, is often an older community. You do have your youngins, like you got Jacob from Construct 3D, and Nero's not that old. He's in his mid-30s, nearly 40. It's rare that you'll see young people, though. Make your own air knife. That was the last one. See, I have this issue when I watch content. I look at it and go, that's probably not something I want to do. And then I actually go back to the video And this is how I got into CNC stuff, believe it or not. When I got into CNC stuff, I didn't want to watch Tony's CNC videos, his CNC Basics video. And then I actually watched it after watching the rest of his content, because I wanted to watch the rest of his content. And now we're here. Now we're here. Right. I need a mouse. I need a clicky thing. Where's my mouse gone? There it is. I need Fusion up. I need a keyboard too. Ugh. What was I looking for? Oh yes. So I think I just need to check some measurements, just some rough stuff. Ugh. This is a really awkward way to operate the keyboard, I'm not going to lie. I will not lie to you. So yeah, I made these all 3D printable so that they could be more custom. So that is 10 millimeters, cool. So we'll see how well they do. I thought it was going to be I still think it's going to be a nice way to make this whole thing, this whole look a lot more clean, a lot cleaner. Steve's barely mid-40s. Yeah, okay. All right. I'm gonna have to straddle a line here. I have to straddle a line here. When I say young, I don't mean that people. When I say young, people aren't really in the 3D printing community. I don't mean that it's full of old people. I mean it's more full of people who are in their mid to late 30s or older, which I don't think. I wouldn't classify as old. I just don't think I wouldn't classify them as young, is what I'm more trying to get at. Like, I'm the youngest guy on my team. I'm the youngest guy in the Millennium team. Still annoys me that 9 Mile is probably the oldest in the teams at the moment. No, he's the second oldest in the team at the moment, and he looks way younger than most of the team. It's so unfair. How old are me? How old are me? I am 25. 26 this year. It was like, at Smurf, you could tell where the young people were. The guys who were next to me at Smurf were pretty much the youngest ones. Inheritance machining is great. There was a period of time where inheritance machining changed its style, and I didn't like it as much. It was still entertaining, but I didn't like it as much. And then he moved back to doing his old kind of voiceover style, which I much preferred. I was still watching his content. I still do watch his content. I like the fact that he gets people to guess on what they think he's making every week. So, like, gotta check something. I'm not gonna hold the knife in my mouth. That's probably a bad idea.
Workshop VOC
Yes,
level
I
return to nominal
know.
levels.
I know.
Turning filters off.
Thank you, Alexa. Try not murder me in the next robot uprising, please. I'll be nice. What are people saying? Sorry, Fusion's up. Steve Knobs, you young whippersnappers, in my day, we all had to walk 15 miles to find a Maplin to buy our electronics. I do remember coming to the UK when I was younger and realize, like, if you don't know, I grew up in East Africa. I only moved here when I was 18? No, 19. When I was 19. I technically moved here when I was 18, but then I spent a year in Canada after like 3 months of being here, so that I'm not counting that year. And I remember everything being so convenient. That was my first thing about being in the UK. Because when you come from Africa, everything in a first world country is convenient, and you don't realize it if you've lived in a first world country your whole life. If money wasn't an option, if money wasn't an object, sorry, get my terminology correct. If money wasn't an object, was no object for you, for just a project, not necessarily a machine, what would you build with Milo? It has to be CNC related. It doesn't need to be, CNC doesn't need to be your main tool, it can just be a tool. But what would you make using Milo? Do you know what's really depressing? 1999 was when I was born. That is nearly 30 years ago. To be honest, I'd make a nice case for a small PC. I'm going to dedicate for controlling Milo with a touchscreen. Okay, cool. Robotic centaur. Okay. Talk to me, because I'm not knocking it. I'm not going to knock it. I'm not going to knock it. What is your thought process behind that? How would you do it on a machine like Milo? Like, what steps are you taking to be able to accomplish that on a machine like Milo? Jose Rivera, damn, I'm feeling old. I feel old every day I wake up, so we're even. And I'm not even that old. I'm not even old at all. But I do have a bad back because I used to row, and rowing gives you bad backs. Don't do exercise, folks. It's bad for you. Don't do exercise. Don't go outside. There's scary things outside. This is coming from someone who worked in the outside for years. To be honest, I just came up with it. Okay, fair. Spare of the moment then. Of course, I had to sell my shoes to buy resistors. Oh, You were lucky to have shoes. We just had bits of string and tire that we had to strap to our feet. You lived in bloody luxury. '73. I'll see myself out. Years old, or that's when you were born? I'm joking, I'm joking. Just realized I can collect the steel chips that escaped from my enclosure with a big magnet. Took my dumbass like 2 minutes staring at the magnet inside the case that attracted chips to realize it. We all have those brain farty moments. We all have them. Even the most intelligent person on earth has dumb moments. I feel so young here at the point I was born in 2000. Oh, Jesus! Jesus! Do you know what will always feel wrong to me is my dating pool is people who are born, is technically still within people who are born post 2005. Like that's still socially acceptable for me to date someone who was born after 2005. Well, maybe not all the way after 2005. A few years after 2005. What Jack said. I think I got everyone bought. I think I got everyone beat. Born in '57. Fair enough. Damn. When was the Vietnam War? Don't actually know what year the Vietnam War was. When was the Korean War? That's another one I don't know the date of. Everyone knows World War II. No one knows the wars after that. As the dates, unless you probably grew up in the States. You probably know it if you grew up in the States. I'm gonna shut up now. But I mean, your assessment that most of the printing CNC community are not youngest is pretty correct, because like none of my friends are interested in this. I tried to get them into it. Yeah, exactly. And those people who are into it at a young age are probably doing it as part of another thing. Like I know a lot of the D&D community, the young people in the D&D community, because D&D community is actually quite a young community nowadays.
Workshop VOC level return to
I'm going to turn you off. Goodbye. Goodbye. The D&D community is quite small. Sorry, quite young. Believe it or not, considering it's a game that was made in what, the 70s? I would say the 3D printing community is probably... Damn it. Broke something. I broke it. Did I print any extras? I didn't print any extras, did I? God damn it. Pain in the ass. Alright. I'll use it just to space things out. Bill. Yeah, CNC definitely is a much older community on average. And remember, folks, you can still be a young person with an old soul. And also remember, just because you're old doesn't mean you're wise. Oh yeah, one of my friends asked me on behalf of his other friend group if he could print them figures out of resin. Had to tell them that my FDM printer is not going to fly. Yeah, that's why I have the FDM printer behind me. I got into D&D after I got into 3D printing. So it's the only reason I have a resin printer is to do D&D stuff. But because everyone I did play D&D with has left my old job, and I don't work there either anymore, I don't print anything. I don't use my resin printer. I don't even play D&D at all. I'd love to play D&D. I would love to get back into it, but finding a group is hard. For sure, money is a big factor. I'm lucky I could get money back together from my student job for Milo, and I still felt it quite hard, and my TISM makes me able to find ways to save up for stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, remember, the first ever Milo was built in a university dorm room, where I was earning, at the time, less than £400 a month, and I would forego meals forego a few meals every day to pay for the parts for the first prototypes of Milo. And I did the first few prototypes of Milo before the first release for 2 years. Where there's a will, there's a way. For amounts of space, I have an amount of filament that is not healthy anymore. Oh yeah, I ate bread for like a month so I could buy it. I didn't even get the bread. Hashtag sacrifice. I'm dropping my scissors enough, it might be a blood sacrifice soon. Good thing brisket's protected. All dogs are protected by God. That is why dog is God backwards. True words. A falling knife has no handle. Very true. But do you know what does have handles? The electronics box. It's not a case of too much filament, just the lack of creative storage solutions. Nice. Yeah. If the van stuff does go through, finding storage for stuff is going to be... yeah. Especially because I want to bring Casa with me. I want to bring Casa and Milo with me. I'm still going to be renting the container that we store all the extra parts for Milo and stuff with. So I'll probably use that as like a home base for whenever I'm doing stuff for like Atlas and stuff. But I'm just going to shave this down here. Convert a double-decker bus, one floor to live on, second floor as a workshop. Nah. What I do want to do, I don't want to get a van like a Mercedes Sprinter or anything like that. I want to get a Luton van, or what in the States would be called a moving truck, like one of those big box trucks. Ow. That's the style of machine that I want to convert. Whole point being that there's extra. This is what I've never known this. I've never seen this happen, but I do have some ideas. So my granddad is a yachty. He has been living on a yacht since he was 30, and he's 82, I think, right now. And on yachts, you have almost every single floor is hollow. Almost every single floor is hollow. And in a Luton van, you have maybe 8 or 9 feet of headroom from floor to top. And I'm 6 foot. And most vans when they get converted, they only have about 7 foot of clearance. So you can get a whole foot of underfloor storage, or another even more, because I think they're actually more like 10 feet. You can get 2 feet of underfloor storage, and the Luton vans that I've seen converted have never ever once used that amount, that storage. So what I want to do is I want to raise the whole floor by about 2 feet, and then I have underfloor storage, so I can put everything like my battery packs, all that stuff, some bulk storage stuff, and then where the rolling door is, I want to have seats. So the seats are going to come up and about where the back door is, and underneath where the seats would be Milo, and Casa. So I would just roll the door up, or if I get a van with opening doors, Casa would be there. I'd have a printer there on one side, and it just means that if I want to operate the mill, I'd need to be outside of the van looking in. But I think it would be possible. And that way it doesn't eat into any of my living space. By the way, I have a solenoid valve for my mist cooling. Just thinking about using different cooling solutions so I can blast steel. Can solenoids be used with liquids too? Yes. Yes, they can. I'd still check to make sure that they're rated for it. I'm not sure if there's a rating. If there's a gas rating for it, but I'm pretty sure you're not pressurizing over a couple of PSI once it's in the tube itself. And I'm pretty sure most solenoids will be able to handle that pressure. Make sure it's pressure rated effectively, that's what I'm saying. I am such a fucking numpty. Where is it? Where's my stabby thing gone? There's my stabby thing.
I'm thinking maybe like flood would trigger the air solenoid and steel coolant, and other would trigger the air solenoid and 75% up here. Okay, so you want to have, honestly, if you've got the option for flood coolant, there's no point in having if you've got flood coolant, no point in having mist coolant. You'll use flood coolant 99% of the time. Right, that's all of those in. Hopefully you can see it. All right, it's about as straight as a hooker's teeth, but she'll do the job. I imagine you on an RV camping yard starting at mile. The thing is, I would probably never go to an RV, like a camping yard. I'd probably just do it in lay-bys and stuff like that. Oh, I meant like flood would trigger the air solenoid and the steel cooling solution so that the flows to the mister, not the. Oh, okay, I get you now. Sadly, didn't have the patience to set up flood on my own. Fair enough. Yeah, flood coolant's extra. It's a lot of extra effort for almost. No, it is. I'm not going to say that because it's actually a big gain. Having flood coolant is a huge gain. It's a huge gain to your health because you're not having to suck in atomized coolant constantly, and it's a huge gain to your cooling as well. Obviously, cooling the parts. This is why I don't say people should make mist coolers. I don't recommend it. Obviously, do what you will. Take all the proper precautions. I know of a lot of horror stories of people who end up with serious forms of cancer because they're constantly inhaling atomized coolant. So I don't touch it, and I don't want Diesel. I don't want Diesel's my parents' dog. I don't want Brisket anywhere near anything that's atomized. Even when I'm doing resin printing, he's not allowed in this room. I'm gonna have to take out the fan as well. I'll reinstall the fan afterwards. Though I'm planning on making another mill while I'm on uni, but that'll be a longer process because I want to have a moving table in Y, but moving spindle in Z and X setup to do flood day. Wait until Atlas is done. That is exactly, it's called a fixed gantry, and that's exactly what Atlas is going to be. So if you can wait a year. gonna be a pain in the ass, isn't it? I mean, waiting is like a curse word for my ADHD. Fair enough. If I'm honest, I don't know if Atlas. If I'm being completely candid with people, I'm going to take a moment to be completely candid with people. All right, I can't say right now whether or not Atlas will be a thing. I can't say whether or not I'll be with the project in a year's time. I can't say any of these things. Burnout is a thing that happens, and I've been burnt out on the project a few times, so I've had to take time off. I'm hoping, I can only ever say that I'm going to hope. I'm hoping the project lasts and that we get to do some stuff. It could be that my interest shifts in that time. So I hope we do get Atlas done. I hope it goes well. But I'm also not going to bank on it. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Meds help a bit, yeah. Unfortunately, I got diagnosed with ADHD in a country that doesn't really offer meds. So and they won't accept my diagnosis here in the UK, so I don't get that option unless I go through the whole process and wait 5 years to get tested and confirmed with adult ADHD. It's a 5-year process to get diagnosed with ADHD here in the UK. Right. Ooh, take a breath. Take a breath. Let's try the other rail for a bit. I'm making my life a lot harder by doing it with all the electronics already on. I want to finish uni in that time, not wait for my diagnosis. Yeah. Thing is, I have the diagnosis. I know I have ADHD, and it's a thing. It's just that the NHS won't accept it. Okay, right. This isn't working with all the bits and pieces on, so I'm going to have to take the DIN rails, everything off the DIN rails, which is going to be a bit of a pain. And I can see that there's definitely been a drop-off on people watching, so I've lost people's attention, which is fine. Absolutely fine. People have other stuff to do in their life. What I'm going to do, now that we have, well, I'll approach this up precariously now. Case is done, other than this panel, but I kind of need this panel off. I'm going to take some time. I'm going to take everything off of the DIN rails, off of stream. I'm going to remount the DIN rails so that it's a little bit easier. It stops me from being forced to fuck around with all this stuff whilst it's still on the rails itself. And then next time we'll get to actually wiring everything in here. All right. So thank you guys all for coming. I really appreciate having everyone around as per usual. It does make my life so much easier to have a great community and a great group of people. You saw nothing. Sorry, Brisket. Let's get you. There's a static granite surface plate, 900 million there, with legs for a grand on marketplace. I wish I had a place for it. Yeah. So thank you guys all for coming. It really does help. If you guys want to help out with the project or the YouTube channel or anything like that, please feel free to share the stream and also share that last video. I'm going to be focusing more on getting a lot more of those videos out. So on Discord, shoot through what videos you want to me to do most in the next few months, whether it be a project video, whether it be a tutorial video, whether it be this, that, or the next thing. Thank you guys all for coming. I will see you guys next time. Bye now. You didn't want to take anything off anyway. Yeah. Bye. See you next time.